my top storyline would have to be just the close. This rivalry has been one-sided over the past 6 years, but for the most part, it's been very close. I mean, I know 2017 and 16 were lopsided games, although 16 was closer for a while, and then it kind of got blown open late, as I recall. But it's been a close series. Obviously, the kicking game has been huge. Miguel Recinos made a last-second kick a few years ago, and, of course, Keith Duncan with his kick in Lincoln. And then you combine that with the fact that Nebraska's played everybody on their schedule close this year. I know that Adrian Martinez being out changes things, but if anybody not predicting a close game Friday would be completely foolish. Now it may be a blowout. I mean, that would be the kind of crazy thing we see in college football, but everything is screaming tight game in this one.
Oh, big time. And I mean, driving down to this morning's press conference, just listen to the radio, and you had people talking about, hey, are you surprised that Nebraska's favored in this game? And it's like, no, not really, not surprised at all. I mean, I told my wife Saturday while we were watching the Wisconsin game, I told her, I go, I bet you that Nebraska's actually favored against Iowa next week. And sure enough, obviously that spread's probably changed since then.
Yeah.
I haven't looked.
it's down to, so it started at Nebraska by 4, and now it's Iowa by 1.5.
Yeah.
Overnight, it changed from 4 to Iowa 1.5. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And now, I don't mean to trivialize the injury of Adrian Martinez, but somebody asked us on our postgame show last week, do you think Nebraska will be favored? And my first thought is I could see it, but I just kept telling myself there's no way you favor a Nebraska team that hasn't proven that they can beat anybody in a close game. I mean, you're going to make it a close line, but there's no way you can favor Nebraska, whether it's at home or not, even with Adrian Martinez. So I was a bit surprised by that in general, but you knew Iowa fans are going to be flocking to the betting tables on that line, and certainly the news overnight or this morning changes things completely. And here's the other thing, Greg, and I want to bring this up too. One of the other sort of underlying storylines in this game on Friday, at least, I would say Oliver Martin is probably Nebraska's second best wide receiver now. Would that be safe to say?
Going into the year, I might have agreed with that, but he's pretty much been invisible all year after starting off real slow with an injury. So
he's still being used in special teams, right? I mean, he's
the kick or a punt returner, and basically just fair catches it every time. I think he's only had one punt return on the year, so everything.
But Toure is the kid that's really emerged.
Smart Torre is he was already invited to the NFL Combine last year, so yeah, he's going to be playing on Sundays. But yeah, he's taken over, and started to show what he's capable of. I think he just tied Stanley Morgan's record for 100-yard games, and he's right up there. He's probably, I think he is going to walk away with some of the wide receiver records, only being here 1 year. So.
Well, yeah. And that's why I wanted to compare Oliver Martin being there, and obviously he's not.
Oliver Martin, absolutely, I get it. Yeah.
And then you combine the fact that now you've got an Iowa emerging receiver who may be probably no question, Keegan Johnson is the best receiver on Iowa's roster.
I love Keegan. I've known Keegan for.
That's a huge storyline.
Oh, and he is blowing up, and I knew he would. I knew he would have a great career at Iowa, and he's probably not going to play there for 4 years before he starts playing on Sundays. So yeah.
He is really good, and again, Bellevue, Nebraska,
West.
Right?
Bellevue
West.
Yep.
So it's sort of interesting. Nebraska's got an Iowa City kid, and then Iowa's got an Omaha kid. So, and they're both playing at a skill position spot that I think for Iowa has been a position that has just struggled year in and year out, and now finally you've got a couple guys in Bruce and Keegan Johnson who are emerging with now a mobile threat. Yeah. And I am wondering what Nebraska plans to do. I mean, Alex Padilla has by no means set the world on fire these last few games, but his ability to be mobile is something that Nebraska hasn't seen, and not many teams have seen out of an Iowa quarterback since 2016 with C.J. Beathard. So that's maybe one side of the football we haven't really talked a whole lot about. everyone wants to talk about Adrian Martinez and Iowa's defense matching up against his mobility. And now that he's out, Smothers will be the guy, assuming he ends up staying healthy throughout the week. So what is Nebraska's outlook against a guy who's a little bit more mobile than Alex Padilla, who is still more of a pocket passer, but is a more mobile quarterback?
Nothing new to the Black Shirts at all. They've played some pretty darn good and mobile quarterbacks already this season. And everybody who plays against Nebraska defense knows they want to get to the quarterback. And so what they've done against Nebraska all year is move their quarterback around and get rid of the ball as quick as possible. So, yeah, it's nothing. Having a more mobile quarterback, nothing to Nebraska defense, nothing new to them. So they're going to come at Padilla. They're going to try to sack him every play. I know that sounds kind of silly fan-like, but yeah, I mean, they're going to try to get home on every play, and it's a very proud defense that has held some pretty darn good players in check all season long. And
Yeah.
I expect this game is going to end up being a low-scoring game, obviously. Now, especially without Martinez playing, I think you take away a lot of the big play threats of the Nebraska offense. So I think this is going to end up being a grind them out. I think each team might be lucky to score 2 touchdowns. I expect that Iowa, you guys are going to have to control the ball, do the same thing that most teams would do against Nebraska, and put together those long 10, 12 play drives, keep Nebraska's offense off the field, and try to wear out Nebraska's defense, because Nebraska is very, very deep on the front line, and you saw a couple guys have to come in and fill in for guys on injuries on the front line. Iowa kid Blaze Gunnarsson finally got his chance, and the South Dakota kid Nash Hutmacher, two freshmen that have been around for a couple years because of COVID, but obviously they had a chance and they played well against a pretty good Wisconsin offense. So Iowa's offense, they better bring their lunch pail with them, because Nebraska's going to play physical, and this is the most physical Nebraska defense that Iowa has faced in several years, going back to the Bo Pelini era.
How is Ezra Miller doing? He's another kid that is from Iowa, of course, transferred to Nebraska. I know he played on the O-line early. Has he been getting time with that unit?
He got a little bit right after Teddy Prohaska went down with a season-ending injury. He did get a little bit of playing time, but some other guys have stepped up in the rotation, and he's back into a backup role right now.
Will we have any clapping allegations? Any blown kisses to the fans? Let's see, what else? What else have we seen in this rivalry over the course of time?
I don't know, but there's a new sponsor though. Shields took over that sponsor. There's no more Hy-Vee, so
okay,
that's kind of surprising.
It's the Shield, so it's the Shields Heroes Trophy now.
Yeah.
There you go, Mark.
Another trophy game in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's the Big Ten's known for that. That's for sure. And Nebraska, what have they had that Heroes Trophy once, maybe? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, when was that established? Because obviously Pelini went 3-1 against Kirk, but
yeah, I think it was established that first year, so they've had it 3 times then. Okay.
Yeah, 3, 4.
Doesn't seem like that much.
Yeah, I was surprised. We dug out that stat last night, and I was thinking that Kirk at least went 2-2 against Bo, but I forgot he was 1-3. So, and then they never won in the Riley era, right?
No. No. That was embarrassing. Yeah.